Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Bob Wright for the Transitioning Show, here with Julian Wells. Hello, Julian.
Hi, Bob. Hello, everyone.
Lots happening this week. We've got lots to talk about.
Kind of an understatement. I hope we do have enough time to play with everything that's been going on and what's coming up, too.
We also have Jennifer that's out there, right? Did I get the name right?
Yeah, I invited someone who reached out to me yesterday named Jen. Jen, are you there on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
There she is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Yep, I am
Coming in
here.
loud and clear.
Awesome.
Now, Julian, you've just gotten back. You've just
sort of just gotten back.
Well, sort of just gotten back. Like I was just saying, to Julian earlier, it doesn't seem like it was a week. Like this whole past week just went by so quick because.
Remember I said the week went by so fast?
It's crazy. So,
Yeah.
well, you've gotten back like about a week ago, right? When you were around Monday? You came?
No, like Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Came back Wednesday night. Traveled Tuesday night through Wednesday morning. Basically had an all-nighter drive, which was pretty radical, but I didn't fall asleep.
I'm glad you made it back safely.
Yeah. It was an adventure, let's just say that. But that's just one part. Every day was an adventure of a whole nother category. And I've shared a bit of that. And I think, today I'm thinking we might just do a lot of people calling in if they have questions or wanted to talk about what I'd gone through. Because honestly, there's nowhere to really start. And I think I did a pretty good comprehensive 2-hour bullet point of everything that we'd gone through. I was on the Adventures in Reality show yesterday, in case people wanted to hear a little bit more about my experience with the Pleiadian puppy experiment that went wild.
Pleiadian puppy experiment.
Yeah, I was just calling the Pleiadians like little puppies that wanted to basically climb up all over me and lick me to death. which happened practically. I actually passed out a bit. But yeah. Anyhow, that's kind of what I signed up for when I decided to see how much nitrous I can handle in my nervous system. And apparently I can only empathize really deeply with about 1,800 Pleiadians at once. Then I shut down.
Only.
But yeah, I used to cry when there was like 12. I was in heightened empathy with, but now it's like, okay.
1,800.
Yeah, 1,850, the last number I had. And then I basically was like turned off. I was like almost near complete psychic numbness for the rest of the night. I was like, I need to recoup here. I just almost fried the system. Actually, without Andrew's help, I probably would not have been interested in stopping. It was like extreme exhilaration. It's like, I don't want to use this word, it sounds icky, but basically orgasmic sex with like hundreds of people at once. Ridiculous. So, I'm not advocating a route where everyone leads this sort of thing, but it did help me recognize the new sort of upgrades that I went through, which is fun, to say the least. But it's the last time I think I'm actually going to do the, speeding in a Ferrari downhill sort of experience.
Can you guys still hear me?
We can.
Yes, we can.
Am I still in? I have a question, Julian. You had mentioned how Mount Shasta is the heart chakra of the planet.
That's what Andrew was saying.
Bashar actually said that Hawaii is the heart chakra of the planet. I'm pretty sure Bashar said that.
Maybe like North America. It might be like North America or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
But oftentimes mountains do represent a high degree of heart energy.
And Mount Shasta is probably not far from Hawaii anyway, right?
I don't know, thousands of miles.
I don't know my geography.
Hawaii is an island out, out in the Pacific Ocean. I mean, at best, Shasta's on the Pacific side of the coast.
It stuck with me because it made a lot of sense that, you know, Hawaii would be the heart chakra, you know, like that. It has a very special energy, you know.
So yeah, the sacred sites are all quite meticulously placed on a meridian system that has a particular pattern. If you follow David Wilcock, he actually shows the pattern of the ley lines, which show the interconnection of the entire structure upon the surface of the planet. And you find out that we're actually within, I think it's a decahedron type shape, and all those angles are the major lines that cross, and then there's major nexus points between all the different triangular shapes where they're all connecting. Anyways, I'm not an expert on that, but I do know
Mount Shasta is definitely, irregardless, it's a PowerPoint.
Right. A lot of ley lines end there. And if you think ley lines as like blood line or as like veins or nervous system points, you can be through these lines. You can actually transfer information across them like internet conduits. So anyone on the line can intercept information that's going across it, but particularly it's meant to link two specific spots on the planet together, and they're all linked together at a greater scale. So whether they're heart chakra or mind chakra or whatnot, the Earth is one big heart machine, so to speak, on many of its major points. And you know, all I can say from my experience is I've never wept so much in my life. Well, maybe when I was a baby I might have had that kind of capacity, but still, crazy nut love. I just out there. I don't even have good words for it. I do what I can. Use the vocabulary I can think of in the moment. But yeah, I mean, heart opening is, you know, I didn't know what that was until then. I thought I knew what it was, but no. Now I know what that is. And it's just like, pumping nitrous glycerin into your blood veins. So I'm ready. I'm ready for phase 2 of life at this point.
Me too.
And, I'm all in.
Well, we've had a huge surge of energy this past week. And I was telling you, like, me and all my roommates, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. Thursday, I think it was. We all spontaneously tripped.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we all had symptoms as though we had just taken something, but we didn't take it. It was...
We had to do that, Bob.
It just happened, unbidden. It just, the next morning we were all comparing notes and everybody was having the same experience.
Excellent. Well, I don't know how I got through driving from 11 o'clock at night on Tuesday to heading to work at 8 a.m. in Seattle after a 9-hour drive. I don't know how I did that. Did a full day of work. I was like, wow, I'm not even phased. I mean, sure.
You're supercharged.
Yeah, it's just nuts. And almost every night I was staying up till like sunrise too. So it was like I should be at an extreme lack of sleep. I mean, I'm probably like, if I go for an average, I'm probably behind by like 30 hours over this last weekend period.
Julian, after I talked to you last night, I actually drove 3 hours away to my favorite place in my state, which is the state of Maine. It's the St. George Peninsula near Rockland, and it is beautiful. And I actually drove all the way there. I got there at 4 in the morning, slept for 3 hours. Slept for 3 hours until 7, and just turned around and came right back. So I'm operating on very little sleep, too. That's all I wanted to add there.
Well, what made you want to take that trip in the middle of the night? Was there something in particular?
Well, yeah, it was the boyfriend stuff / mother stuff.
Okay.
that we spoke about, and so, and I don't know. We actually, when I got back, we had a really long, really nice conversation. Actually, the most open that we've ever, I think, been able to be with each other, and we've been together like 2.5 years. So it was quite a big step. And I actually told him what you said, and we had actually a really, really nice talk, and I think completely found some common ground that we haven't been able to find, at least from my view in the entire duration of our relationship so far. So, it was amazing.
Yep.
Awesome.
I'm one of those, I'm in this mode where I'm just like, cut to the chase. I got things to do. Personally. I'm like, let's just go for it, in my opinion.
I finally just opened up and I just explained, everything that I've been keeping to myself all of this time, and he told me everything he's been keeping to himself, and we're like, oh my God, we have a lot more in common than we thought. We just stopped talking to each other because we assumed that the other person really didn't care about what we were saying, so we just stopped talking. And once we talked again, we realized, oh my God, we actually, do have some common ground to find, and we actually are, together right now for a reason. So it was a pretty special day for me, especially being on the show. I'm absolutely thrilled to be on the show.
We're glad to have you, Jen.
Yep, she's a bubble of the greatest energy. I love being around people like her. So, did you want to talk a little bit about? Thank you. Did you want to talk a little bit about what brought you to the point of wanting to reach me in particular? Because I don't have, I don't publish my phone number, but there was something obviously driving you to find me.
Yeah, and I tried to call Bob too, and I got a different Bob Wright in Pennsylvania, and he's like, I was like, is this the Bob who's affiliated with the One People show and the Transitioning show? And he's like, nope. and I actually had just put forth the intention. I said, I'm just going to write down the first number I find, the one that feels right. I just completely left it up to my intuition. I said, I am desperately needing to talk live with someone because, for the most part, I just download the shows, after they happen. Mm-hmm. So I never, I actually had called in, Bob, you might remember this. It was a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned the Rolling Thunder guy, the Native American guy.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that call.
Yeah.
Okay, that was you.
So. And I also asked you about...
Jen, you know what? If you had called my number, I actually left my phone in Morocco.
Oh my God.
And I'm still waiting for them to send that back. So, Heather,
well,
if you're
no
listening,
offense.
please send my phone.
But, please do not take offense to this, Bob. Julian was actually the one that I wanted... Okay, Julian, you asked me how I came to kind of zone in on you specifically, and that was when all of you guys were in Morocco, and Chris was kind of filling in the shows, and he did an update with Julian on one of those shows, and once I heard that, I was like, oh my God. So I went to the IUD website and I found all the other recordings that Julian had done, and I listened to all of them outside in my car.
Hours and hours.
Yeah. Well, I told you I quit my job in March, so I got a lot of free time. But I listened to them because the whole the extraterrestrial presence has been the one thing that I'm absolutely the most interested in. And I was listening to these recordings, and I was looking up at the sky at the same time, and I was like, oh my God, there's a ship. Okay, there's one. Like, and I just it refueled me almost, like to the point that I felt when I first started listening to Bashar and I first found out about what's impending. And And it was just, and I'm sure everybody can relate to this, but it is really literally just the sound of your voice. There's something about it that is just, and people say you're so humble and you're so sweet, and yeah, I don't know what it is. You just have one of those universal kind of, which of course is why it makes you such a good conduit for,
So when you're familiar with the chakra system, right? And each chakra offers a particular energy expression that it's familiar with and knows how to bring forth. So there's the throat chakra when it comes to speaking. And mine was not very developed. However, several of my other chakras I've been working with throughout my life to open up and clear and have in full flowing mode. And the more that you have opened up multiple chakras, because everyone comes in with particular chakras more open than others, like you can call them skills or their aptitudes. But as you open up more, you actually gain a lot more flexibility because the energy can sort of like transition and focus in different areas of your body. So there's more of a flow simply by the up and down of your spine with the connection. So they sort of feed each other. So your throat chakra is more valuable when you have your heart chakra open because now you're using two chakras to fuel the heart, the throat chakra in that moment. You're combining the heart and the throat in one place. So the more chakras you have open, the more energy comes through that particular expression. And so that's, also the reason for opening up chakras that many people have repressed, such as, the sacral and the lower chakras involving, sex expression and things like that. There's a lot of capturing and limiting that in society. Root chakra, yes. And, the chakras associated with your gut and intuition, too. Oftentimes those are, slowed down via the food that we eat and the toxins that need to be processed at that place.
Oh, can I interrupt right here because I have a question that I was actually planning to ask you, but it fits in perfectly right here.
Okay.
A few years ago, I was a raging alcoholic. I was really, I was trying to not care anymore because I felt like I cared too much, more than everybody else around me. So I tried to not care anymore. And during that time is when I had during that time when I was completely saturated with alcohol, almost, 24/7, was when I had the craziest, most vivid, amazing dreams, lucid dreams, flying dreams, swimming dreams, the most amazing dreams I've ever had in my life I had during that time. And as soon as I got sober, they stopped. And I was like, should I start drinking again? I want those dreams back.
Yeah, it's actually a part of what a lot of people, why they prefer the experience of being drunk, is because it affects, it actually reduces the activity in your brain, come to think of it. You have less moments of time to experience when you're in the brain, when you have alcohol affecting and slowing down connections in the brain. So time moves more quickly as well, as you'll notice when you're drunk and the more drunk you are. So because of that, the calculator, the computer processor of the brain does not have time to play with anything less than the most important themes in the moment. So it doesn't calculate a lot of the
that is what was so attractive about it.
It is. Yeah. It is, certainly. But we have a lot of subconscious programming that keeps us in this society stable. Right? Now, there's a debate as to whether we need it to be stable or not. But certainly there are ways to get back to that state of mind without alcohol altogether. You just need to basically be in a state where you're quite comfortable purging the non-essential subconscious stuff, which is, work on yourself sort of things. And then you could also do things where you enter into a harmonic state of what it is like with those around you so that you feel comfortable and you're free and you're open. The only difference is that you'll be able to be much more on the ball when it comes to data that does need to be processed in the moment. So you can keep yourself in check and you don't actually
I'll be able to remember
lose yourself, right, and you can, still drive and things like this,
Yes.
So, yes.
Makes sense,
So, what we end up with, the mind processes a lot of data that's stored in the body. It's the place where you can intellectualize and dissect and play with little bits at a time, even though it's nearly impossible to handle all of it at once, all the data that's stored in your cells of your body and all this. A lot of the reason why we don't give it enough credence, the value of, your thoughts and your right side versus your left side value, is because we're not given the opportunity to choose what is important. We're given what is important by society per the controlling structure. We don't get to sort of express all our thoughts. We just say, oh, that's not important because society thinks that's not important, right? Or that's something I shouldn't be thinking about, or that's considered evil. It's not, not something worth contemplating.
Or you had an upbringing that specifically prevented you from speaking about anything ever.
Right. And many religions also basically tell you what the rules are. But everything is worth contemplating, because once you have a space where you really are open to handling and processing all information, you're really in a space where you can make the best decisions. So, yes. And speaking to what I was explaining before regarding the chakras, yes, you can become very familiar at opening up the chakra in the brain so that you can discover and follow your intellect side and be really comfortable with that. And yes, that involves, getting past preconceived notions of how things should be, because a lot of that is determined, it's chosen in that space. Mm-hmm. And then, so when I speak from having activated and opened and attempting at least to remove as much of the blockages in many different aspects of my energy systems, and so I have more energy that can flow through that.
Well,
That's
do it
my
well.
explanation. Okay, well, thanks. I'm still working on it.
Well, I think your progress is pretty rapid. I think everybody could agree with that.
Well, I kind of put myself in a position by being in the public to try to be the best representative for my own state of being.
You stepped out of your comfort zone, didn't you, Julian?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that.
And what did you find?
I've found that driving a Ferrari is better than driving a crummy little Buick. Basically, that's what I found. So that's a lot better, much more fun, and get stuff done a lot more effectively and quickly. Yeah, don't tell the cops that I only like speeding now. So
you have to move to Germany.
Oh, maybe.
Well, we do have another caller on the line.
Okay.
Bring him in.
Yes.
Area code 864. Your mic is live.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Bob and Julian. Hi, everybody. This is Gloria.
Hello, Gloria.
Hi. I'm normally I float back and forth between Atlanta and South Carolina. So, Julian, I'm the Gloria that contacted you with a photograph and another email, and I'm stepping out of my comfort zone now, calling you guys. So, hello, everybody.
We hope it's going to be rewarding.
Listening to you guys is always rewarding, but I was thinking, I have to call the two men who made me cry this week because Bob, I watched your videos about your healing, and it was amazing to watch. Mm-hmm. And then, Julian, I listened to your update when you came back from Mount Shasta, and you talked about finding your people.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost it again. So I thought, I just have to call in and turn myself in and say how amazing it was. It was wonderful.
So good to,
yeah.
I'm so glad that you did call, Gloria. Because,
it's funny. I contacted Julian a couple of weeks ago, and I really don't know why, but it was just like one of those nudgings that just doesn't go away until you do it. And so I've learned to follow those things. I don't really worry about what the outcome is or why I do it or what somebody else thinks is supposed to happen. I just do it. And a lot of times I figure it out later or something comes up, so I just kind of don't worry about it, even though it seems odd, to just reach out and contact people that you don't know. But I figure there's a reason for it all,
So,
but go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so we're all connected, right? We're all one. And yes, that sounds nice on paper and when you say it out loud, but the practicality is that we're still living in limited relationships, right? We're living with distances between us, with our interests and with our physicality. There's distances. But right now, we recognize what energy really is in terms of how it makes us feel and having it flow. And more, not only are we attracting more and more of what we're looking for, is we're actually finding that there's coalesced physical sources of energy found in other embodiments, other people, that we're attracted to because they're part of the magnets of what we're attracting in our life. It's funny, I didn't think I would be attracting other people. I thought I'd be attracting experiences. But what do you get with a person? Right. You get a whole bundled treasure chest of experiences that you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely do. Yeah.
Finding just the right people, it's happening. It's happening at this stage, at an unconscious level, at a conscious level. People recognize it, people are not, but it doesn't really matter because it's all in perfect timing.
And please, you must understand, when we're doing these shows, we feel everyone. The audience,
I know.
I know. We feel the energy from all of you, and it's overwhelming sometimes. So we're getting tenfold what we're as far as I'm concerned.
Bob, you are a shining example. I mean, that's why people respond so strongly to you guys, is because you're like Chris always says, you're way showers. You're stepping forward first, and you're opening up, and that is inspiring, others to want to open up to you.
Well,
the opening up part is tough.
I really appreciate it, and I just want to say that since the videos, I've been getting like 300 messages a day, and I appreciate all of them. I really do, and I read them all, but I can't respond to them all because I'd probably still be typing right now.
Yeah.
But I just want to say to everyone, thank you so much, and I'm not going to talk a lot about it more because I'll start crying.
Oh, you'll make me cry again.
It's been an amazing experience, and I didn't even know that they were filming me.
Oh, that's what makes it more precious.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, more authentic. Yes.
Well, hey Bob, you want to hear a cool story?
What's that?
Remember last week when you mentioned the movie V for Vendetta?
Yeah.
Once you mentioned that, it's so funny. The movie is incredibly relevant, by the way. I mean, I don't know if anybody else took your advice, but I have it in my collection, and I never paid attention to it or even remembered what it was about, and I was like, oh my God, I actually have that. So I went and watched it, and I was like, yeah, well, I can see why Bob likes this movie. I hope everybody watches this movie. My favorite quote is when he says, the people should not be afraid of the government. The government should be afraid of the people.
Yeah.
And everybody just breaks curfew, and they just flood the city, and they brush right past the army guys, and they're like, it was beautiful. It was amazing, and thank you so much for mentioning it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite movies. When it first came out, I was like, oh my God. how are they getting away with putting this movie out?
That's what I thought too. I was like, there's got to be a hidden message in it somewhere because they'd want to put a stop to this somehow. You know.
Because it's very, very relevant. It looks, that world that it portrayed is not far from where we are.
It's actually a projection at the same time.
I didn't get that, Julie.
I'm saying it's actually a projection at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if we don't learn anything from that, it's them giving us notice that they're just going to do it anyways. They're going they're going to take it to that level if we don't actually have a problem. So it's almost like a teaser saying, hey, you have a choice here. You could take a look at this. Don't say we didn't tell you. We told you what we're interested in doing. And if you let us do it, then you let us do it. Even told you I was going to do it. Yeah.
Gave the solution.
It did. It did. Well, actually, it gave actually quite a narrow solution. There's
it gave
many
a
ways.
solution. Yeah. Yes, but it's all about the people.
Yes. Yep.
It's all
and
about
amazing alliteration.
Yeah, he's a cool character.
There's so many awesome V words, and now I know them all.
Gloria, I'm going to keep your mic open so you can chime in whenever you like, but we do have another caller.
Go ahead.
Area code 360.
Hello.
Area code 360. Hello.
Hey,
You're
Bob.
live. Hello.
Hey, Bob and Julian. Hey, thanks. Hey, thank you for the platform and much love for you and Heather D, Lisa, Chris, and everyone under OPPT. Just want you to know that we love you all. And Bob, I just kudos to you in a big way. Had an opportunity to view the videos that were being taken again. I'm just following up on Jennifer. Awesome. Just overwhelming. And
can I have your name?
This is Kevin in Seattle. Hey, Julian.
Hi.
Kevin.
Yeah, calling from Seattle here. So I just wanted to chime in on that and encourage you and just hey man, it was a big encouragement to me. And Julian, just wanted to thank you for bringing back a lot of valuable information, from Mount Shasta here and sharing that with us here today. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Just wanted to say hello to you guys and send out a lot of love here from Seattle.
Hello.
Hello. So, Kevin, are we getting together with BZ this weekend coming up? I think she's trying to organize something. If you want to get together with those in the gang in Seattle.
Absolutely. Where do we begin? Where do you want to? What information do I need?
Begin by at least getting in contact with either BZ or myself. And it's not officially planned yet, but she's pinged me, and I think we're going to do something. So anyone else is on the line in Seattle who wants to get together and powwow and talk and share and something, I think we might try to do something maybe bi-weekly or something at least.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would definitely be in order. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, reach out to me on Facebook if I don't have you already. I'm sorry if you already are. I mean, I just 500 new Facebook friends in the last 2 months alone. It's a little difficult to keep track of everybody.
Yeah. I'm not a big player of Facebook, social media, because of all the harvesting there.
Right.
But
I'm also on Skype. You can find my full name, Julian Wells, all together, and Julian is spelled with an E, not an A, in case you want to keep in the loop there too. But anyhow,
Julian, that's how I found you.
Okay.
all the other Julians had A's.
I'll find you.
Yeah. Yep. So anyhow, thanks for sharing and thanks for coming on.
Oh, you bet.
Look forward to meeting you.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks again. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for calling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a lot that's I really wanted to get into, Julian, and get some of your ideas, because I see that we're entering into the phase of literal physical transformation.
Yeah.
It feels that way.
Yes.
People are, it's not just me, people are healing all over the place. People are doing things that before 10 years ago would have been called impossible or paranormal, and it's becoming quite normal now.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of just the eye color change, that I experienced. Where do you see humanity, let's say, in 5 years?
Let's speak to DNA. I think that might be a good way to start out that discussion, because DNA, from what I understand and how I feel, is actually very miniature little portals. There's the point where energy from non-manifest comes through and is manifest. But each DNA is like a stained glass window. It brings in particular energies, right? And particular colors and patterns, because we're actually a collection of lots of geometric patterns and sacred geometry. The DNA is the conduit for having certain energy come through you. And that also helps determine what will make up relatively your personality based on what kind of energy you have access to. Now, what's coming into this position is we're beginning to access our choice point. When I say our choice point, I mean we're deciding more specifically what we wish to live by and what we wish to live through. And what this does is the DNA actually changes. I'm not sure if everybody's aware of this, but your DNA changes per your interests and needs. So what's actually happening is your DNA is transforming to be the way that you want it to be. And if you've had any discussions like I've had with Michael Monk's group at the Avatar Energy Mastery Institute, you can actually build muscle without doing exercise. You actually affect your DNA, and you can get your physical shape without actually doing anything. It's a little easier if you offer a little programming by doing some routines, but for the most part, you can physically transform your body into virtually any kind of vessel. A lot of the parameters are not particularly interested in changing, such as your hair color for the most part, and but your height can change, your skin can change, all sorts of things can change per your interest. Now, since we are completely disillusioned about this possibility, it takes us a lot of effort, seemingly, to want to do this. What it helps to know is that we're actually living in a dream world. It just is more dense because we're working more together, and we're saying we want to collaborate with each other more. Now, the Earth is the common collaborator, co-creator that we share. And so if you want to start co-creating a new body, you actually probably deserve to tell the Earth itself that you'd like to do this with its cooperation. And it will bring to you exactly the types of energies that will come through and shift your DNA to be who you are. But it also is based on everyone that's around you, too. It's going to be hard to bust other people's realities if you start, completely changing all of a sudden. But if it's done in small increments, you won't have too much trouble. So eye color is a good start. So, healing also happens that way. You can decide to just not go through the illness experience anymore. And that is typically what happens when you release contracts that create a resistance within you that results in an illness. But lots of these things. And when I'm talking about the future, I'm saying, you're just going to see more and more miracles. It's just going to keep going full throttle with people that don't even know what's going on, but they're following their heart. They're having less resistances in their life, and they're letting energy flow the way that they truly, wonderfully wish to have it go. And you'll see these kinds of transformations. You'll see people getting younger, and you'll see the wisdom in children looking like they're much more adult than they actually are, because they're in that flow space and they know that they already have access to their wisdom. The children that are being repressed obviously have difficulty, but those who are left to flow will be just as much teachers as our elderly.
Yep, we're seeing that now. I liken it to, reality being moved to, like a rock, to being more like Play-Doh, it feels like now. Right.
So, in dream time, life is quite flexible and plastic and watery, right? We just don't exercise out of control. Right. But it's not really mirage. It has physical patterns.
I didn't say mirage. I said mirage.
Okay.
He says celebrate the malleable reality.
Mm-hmm. Now, dreams are malleable, and so is the one that we're speaking with together right now. And clearly, it takes a certain point of view that supports your ability to work with reality at a whole new stage. But there's lots and lots of stories of people who are breaking those realities, from sun gazing to manifesting out of thin air to being, impervious, having their bodies impervious to all sorts of ailments and forms of physical damage. These are all accessible. Only what everyone has done to make it possible within the system at this point for us to be able to observe is they've had to be like a pillar of energy to stand within everyone being the contrast to that possibility. As a community, as we move forward, as we co-create, and as the Earth is evolving and accepting us more and more and wishing to support us in our day-to-day, we're going to have more access to the transformation as we wish to have it. So my full expectation is that through the bumps that the energy is offering, these gifts of energy and gratitude and support, we're going to start getting into all sorts of psychic-like abilities and then get into more physical-based abilities.
Well, so much has changed for me in the last 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Telepathy has become a huge, huge part of my life.
Oh, yes.
It's a preferred way of getting when I can use it. I can use it with certain people quite
mm-hmm.
well, and it's so much better. And I'm using it constantly,
Well, yeah.
because even when you're having a conversation, there's another sub-conversation going on if you tune into it.
Yep.
And I'm getting used to that stream of energy. It's become normal for me now. And
right.
And the more that people start to get these ideas in their head that anything is possible, the more people that start to challenge their reality, try and change it. I sat here looking at my ceiling, which is a white stucco ceiling, and I would sit here a lot, because I wasn't walking, but I would concentrate on, can I change the color of the ceiling?
Mm-hmm.
And I would do it, all of a sudden I'd start seeing like shades of purple and different colors, other than what was presented to me. And when you start to that you can change things like that, now I don't know if it changed for everybody else, but it changed for me.
So that's the other thing. To do changes that are considered consistent amongst multiple people, we're also needing to invite the others into the experience as well. Now, those that we get along with more easily invite, into our experience more easily. I just want to say it's as simple as that. We're co-creating, right? And what we really would like to do, and what's in our hearts, is we'd like to see everyone feel the same way we are so that we can co-create more effectively, right? It would be really nice if the whole world just, fucking woke up sometimes, because then we can get down to business and live the life we want, right? But really, it's actually an invitation, right? And that's why I have some personal issues with not just the cabal not seeming like they're inviting us to experience the way they want the crummy world, but some of the light workers as well are like, it's hard to invite them as well because they have, their personal desires and they're holding it within just themselves that this is what they want. And anyways, I could get in arguments about my issues with some light workers and the way they promote, but anyhow.
It's just, whatever you're focusing your energy on is what you're focusing on creating.
Mm-hmm.
There was someone that, would tell me that about these visions that they had, and the West Coast is going to fall into the ocean, and I saw it. This wasn't one of those dreams. And then they started, looking at earthquake patterns, and I said, are you looking for validation of the disaster? Are you looking for that outcome? Really, what are you doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
You're
coalescing the experience.
Exactly. Yeah. I said, when I get information like that, I was like, well, that's not happening in my reality. And I let it go because it's not something that I choose to create or something that I choose to offer energy to.
Now, there's something I wanted to bring up. I think several people are having a little bit of trouble with this concept right here that we're bringing up, because there's the idea that you can say no to something, no to something, and yet it still shows up, and you're wondering, well, shoot, maybe I shouldn't focus on it at all, right? Should I just ignore it? And there's actually a point at which you need to recognize is how you're attracting, and you'll know based on your gut feeling. Your feeling will tell you the momentum that's going into producing exactly what you're not interested in, but you feel that it needs to be addressed. Now, we can address things. There are people who can go in and destabilize an attraction, whether positive or negative. You can go in there and you can just destabilize it. It's sort of like pulling the leg out from a chair, right? It won't stand if it's not held together. The energy isn't all held together. You can have it collapse, the energy. And so that's actually a skill that gets into a particular point of view that I've begun to experience, and Andrew has been really helpful in getting me to recognize this within myself, is that when you approach a subject with a state of neutrality, right, when you're the observer and not the interactor, when you're in that observer mode and a state where you can see it for what it is, and you accept it for what it is, you're no longer choosing what it will be, one way or the other. And so that sacred neutrality, some people call it, is where you really have the option to pull the leg out from under the chair if you feel that it serves or not. But for the most part, all you need to do is describe it from a neutral point of view, and those who are listening can get an understanding of what you're speaking to, and they'll no longer be charged in one of the polarities. Okay, that's 5D speak translated into 3D speak. Because for 5D, it's everything is inclusive, good and bad, whatever. But you don't actually have a choice until you reflect on a particular polarity and are attracting it. That's what brings it into more grounding 3D nature.
So we're not talking about running away from negative thoughts.
No.
Because if you're running away from negative thoughts, you're still giving it energy, because it has to exist in order to chase you.
Good point. Yes.
So we're talking about looking at those in a completely different way. Where you don't assign a polarity to it. You don't call it negative anymore. It's just something that happens, or something that can happen, or possibility.
Correct.
It is not anything positive or negative because, and this, somebody told me the story and I recount it so many times, but you can't tell from one moment to the next what really is positive or negative, because one thing leads to another. If a man buys a horse, everybody, a prize-winning horse, everybody says it's a good thing. The horse runs away, everybody says it's a bad thing. The horse comes back with 20 mare following it right into the man's corral. Everybody says it's a good thing. Was any of those events bad or good since one led to the other? And without that full purview, you can't really label anything as positive or negative. But you can choose which experience you wish to have.
Correct. When I look at timelines, it's all based on choices, right? It's all based on choices and momentums. Like momentum is basically the choices you have based on the prior choices you've made. Like coasting down a river and you're in a particular current that's strong. You're running on a current that is based on all prior choices. And you can jump off it and say, this is no longer the current I want to be on. But it seems difficult because in the moment you feel sort of helpless by being in the flow of something. But from a point of view of neutrality, you recognize that, okay, I'm in a current and it's going over a waterfall, right? And you can see your own destruction, but not in the moment where you're freaking out. So from that point where you sort of take a step back, you actually gain more options on how you can react. You actually have more choices in the neutral space than if you're on one of the other polarities. Because if you're in fear mode, or you're in, everything will turn out, fine mode and just trust, and you're just giving love to the waterfall, like as if you'll just survive the crash. Those are limited experiences. But within the neutral point of view, your choices are, they multiply. The possibilities are much more vast because you don't have to do it a particular way. You just play it out the way that you choose. You have just more choices. I just hate to say this. Like if you follow like the light to the dark, they're two extremes. But in the middle, there's a billion choices. Within the dark space, there's only a couple of choices. And within the light space, there's only a couple of choices. But in the middle, you have an extremely large gamut. And that's usually how you dig yourself out of really profound, difficult, muddling circumstances. And actually, that's the kind of work I would like to work with people, because I can stand in more neutrality than most people going through tough stuff. And I can do my best to just sort of help create a negative, not a negative space, but a neutral space to perceive that there's really more like millions of options in every space. Because timelines destabilize, and they've been destabilizing more and more as I've noticed people not choosing the polarities in order to make their decisions.
Julian, we got another caller on the line. Before we go so far to a different topic that their question becomes
moot. You're
lost.
Lost. Sure, no, let's have them on.
Area code 617.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Mike from Boston, the mailman. Holla, guys. Holla.
Hello,
hey.
Mike from Boston.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on? I was just resonating so much with what both of you guys are just saying. I do have a particular question, but, man, that is just so relevant, what you guys are just talking about in regards to a conversation I had a couple of nights ago with a good friend of mine named Dan. And, man, it's just so crazy how things work, right? Anyways, I was calling just to say hi, checking in on you guys. I've definitely been following you guys nonstop. Like I said, those are in the route. It gives you something to tune into and really just be on a higher vibration while walking around in this third dimensional reality. Just really, kind of pass that on to other people. And they really, some people, they just really don't understand. Like, they don't, and I'm not coming from a place of judgment, because I totally understand that mindset. But, man, when you're really, on a higher level or a higher level of vibration and thinking and positivity and just passing that around to people energetically, it really catches people off guard, and it really shows, man, this is it's so addicting, kind of. Like, you want to give up this positivity. You want to be, on a higher level so that other people will be on a higher level.
Absolutely.
And,
when we have energy, it's not difficult to feel that you can share it.
For sure.
But what you're going to find, Mike, that energy, it affects people in different ways. It's going to infect some people and inspire them, but it's going to get some people angry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially people who are stuck in their ways and they're not really open to. They don't really. Not that they don't care. They don't really want to hear that. They don't really want to be around that positivity. It rubs them the wrong way. And the way I started to look at it is, they're playing their role. They're playing their role for this grand play that we're all playing out. And I don't feel any animosity towards the people who aren't, I don't even like to say on my level, but I'm saying thinking more on a positive level, more on a higher dimensional level. I don't feel any animosity towards those people, because I actually feel exactly like Lisa said. I thank them. Thank you for providing the energy that you needed to provide in this moment, so that I can experience and learn whatever I'm supposed to learn from you in this moment. And that's really where I've been coming from. Yeah, really, that's really what I've been trying to. No matter how negative or positive an experience, if you stay in the neutral and you really don't when you have positive things happen, don't let it don't let yourself get a big head. And when you have negative things happen, don't really fall into a depression about it. Really just being thank you for the experiences that I'm learning through both the positive and the negative. And it's been wonderful because it really helps you really don't get stuck on small things. You really it just really helps the growth of the eternal essence embodied that we are experiencing day by day. You know what I mean?
That's excellent sharing. So you have your own show, right? I mean, you must be clearly spending a lot of time sharing this stuff with other people.
I definitely
you're very, very wise. I can hear it within your voice and every word. I love it.
Oh yeah, I feel it too.
I feel the same way about all you guys, and which is why I think it's so. I think every time I tune into you guys, it's like I think you guys said it on the or Bob, you guys said it on the Collective Imagination, or one of the shows this week was talking about how we're like a family, and every time people come on the air, it really it just resonates with the majority of the people that are looking for this type of information and this type of higher vibrational learning and living. You know.
Yes. Yep.
I did want to bring up the reason why I call, and I don't often get a chance to call because I'm always listening to you guys the replay from the night before or whatever, and I really I cherish the time. I cherish the times that I get to call and just say, hi guys, don't worry, you have a representation over here on the East Coast. I know it's out there. I wish if more people from Boston were living on this level or really tuning into you guys and following really the monumental changes and fundamental changes that are happening. I would love to meet with more people like this because I have friends and we talk about this stuff, but it's always, but you still got to make money, you still got to do this, you still got to do that, and I don't think that they really even understand the magnitude of the situation as far as the shift and the changes that are happening and the subtlety of it.
Well, then do it. You're attracting just by saying, I'd like to meet the other people from Boston, right?
Totally.
I'd love to meet other people that are at your space and can speak at where you're coming from. Because really, that's part of what the journey to find your soul family is like. It's finding the like mind, but within our community, so we could actually get to the point of hugging each other because we know how profound everything is between each other.
Totally. I totally resonate with that too. Yes, exactly.
So you had a question?
So well. Yeah, I really wanted to ask you guys about, I know Dee from Removing the Shackles, she posted something today that was her and regarding her and Heather's conversations about a document that's going to be released this coming week about how to bond yourself or monetize your value so that we can use it for the short period that we are going to use it in the future as far as currencies and whatnot, and just try to get digging people out of holes and whatnot until we can all really get on that the same wavelength and same mindset about how we really want to manifest our futures. But I just want to know if you guys have got a chance to read that article and just to see what your take was on that.
Yeah. If I start talking about it, we're likely to get dropped.
Sure. Understandable.
Here comes the background.
What I was saying was that it's exciting. That's all. That's really exciting if that's the case. And it really, phase 2 almost is about to begin, the kind of thing, you know?
Well, I'll tell you, Dee called me at 3:20 a.m. Thanks, Dee. No, I'm glad you did. And she's like, all right, fellas, get your, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. So yeah, it's huge news. The release of the bonding technology, which basically is the ability to create your own currency.
Right.
Will be released on Monday.
It should be interesting, to say the least.
Well, it's going to give a lot. It's going to give people a lot to do.
Right. It's almost like people have been asking for all this. People have been asking for this, and now it's going to be like, well, you've been asking so long, and I think people have been kind of like, offhand asking about it, like, ha, when's this coming, ha. And now they're actually going to have it, and then they're going to have to do it themselves, and it's a matter of, here it is, go and do it. Now let's see you do it. You know what I mean? Here's what you want. Let's see you work with it,
Well, hopefully they've been paying attention because it's not a silver bullet. You still have to stand behind.
Right.
That paper, that paper isn't a magic wand. It contains energy, but nothing more than what you have. You have to stand behind that paper.
You have to understand it and make it manifest. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, Julian.
Exactly.
Hey, you know how like when people they win the lottery, right? And then it actually, for the most of them, it screws up their life more than ever. That's because they didn't own the responsibility of that energy, right?
Totally.
So the only way that this is going to organically move forward successfully is if you own the responsibility for what you're calling forward. So if you're saying, I'm writing a bond for $1 trillion, well, that's a lot of responsibility in this society that we're in right now. But if you're like, I need $100 to get through eating sweet.
For what you need.
Exactly.
Totally.
Exactly. So the responsibility comes with the perceived value that you set up. And remember, the perceived value is not just you. It's those around you as well. Right? So if you exaggerate and everyone around you just doesn't understand what sort of value you're placing on something and what you're declaring, well, then you're just going to spend a lot of energy trying to fend off the explanations and the differences that you have with everyone. So it's going to be a little interesting to handle that, and I want to see that happen and go well. The interrelationship of the co-creation with everyone else is a part of the acceptance.
Julian, I actually have a plan for that.
Excellent.
I actually made a plan about that. My plan was to essentially
we're getting a lot of background noise.
I think it might be Mike.
I'm down by the water, so it might be me. I'll let you guys go. I just wanted to get you guys. I'm gonna go take my daughter to the park. She's such a spark and higher vibrational being as well. So I'm gonna go run around and yell and play. I'm definitely gonna catch the full recap of this episode. And I also wanted to say, Bob, I haven't seen the video of you walking yet. Heard all about it though, and I'm gonna check that out. So I look forward to that. And Julian, you rock as well. I'm gonna listen to your. I didn't know you put out a new update since coming back from Mount Shasta. So I'm gonna check all that out, and I hope to check you guys out as far as live talking to you guys. Drop a line at least once a week. At least I try. So like I said, you're always in my heart, and I love all you guys. And namaste.
Take care, Mike.
Thanks for calling, Mike.
Okay, continue where you left off, Jen.
Well, I actually had a plan for how the sort of co-creation of it was going to play out in my life, and I actually volunteered myself. This was kind of the thing I used, not so much to convince people, but to give them a little bit of hope. So I explained this to a few people close to me recently, and I just volunteered myself. I said, I will do it for you. I will go to the bank, and I will talk to the people, and I will see the manager, and I will make sure that he or she knows that I know what they're up to, and I'll get the money for you. And here you go. Here's a bunch of cash. I'll do it for you, and just to show you and to give you, your own confidence.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are signing up for that exact activity, especially for those who are just quite buried into the depression of nothing is possible sort of mode, just to give them this light of hope. But note that you can gain a lot of, I don't want to call it something that gets kind of out of hand, but you can work with collectives, people who support you. You have access to the energy that they're depositing in their faith in you, and you can use that to empower the actions that you take. It's actual energy. When anyone gives you faith or gives you their undying attention or their intent that you do well, it's an actual exchange of energy that supports you. So note that if you are doing work on behalf of others and they know about it, or in the quantum field that they will appreciate it on the back end, even if they don't know about it, then you have access to a greater state of empowerment where you can do a lot, very wonderful things, and quite big things that you might think are quite difficult to accomplish.
But there's one thing I want to caution about this, Jen.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily want to do it for them, but
I'm too giving.
by your own doing, show them.
Right.
Show them. You know, by your own doing, by your own example, show them. You know, it's the only way that, you know, because you take, there's something in the process of learning, you know, and by watching and having an example of seeing where it goes, you have a clear path. But when you do for somebody, you take that whole learning experience away.
You're totally right. You know, and just this moment I had an epiphany that where that all came from was just a powerful need for them to believe me that this is going to happen, that this is true. It was more personal validation, I think, that I was seeking through wanting to do that for everybody around me.
Well, no, you know, it's a natural thing. It's extremely natural to want everyone that you love and care about to share in that joy. It's spontaneous. It comes unbidden, you know, and that's just a human thing, right? But then you have to then you use that rational side of you, and what's the quickest way to get them there? Because you know, I've gone through trial and error.
Well, lead by the power of example is what I've always been taught is the best.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
That's the example. That's the fastest
so
way
essentially,
to
that's
get
what I meant. I'll do it. I'll show you. I'll do it. You know, like.
Right. You'll do it.
I'll be the example.
Exactly. There you go.
Excellent. And when you offer that example, I'm sure many other people are interested in hearing what you have to say when you go through that too. I mean, after the fact, because other people, at large level. So, like, certainly, share your stories on the IUV website, because they're taking people's experiences there. I don't know exactly how that's. I think there's a space where you can tell your stories. But you could also call me up and we can record something.
There's the opt-in success
stories
on Facebook.
Julian, I would love to do a recording with you. Oh my God. And you know what? Just talking to you guys tonight, I am in such a better place about all of this stuff. About feeling like I'm the only one who knows about it around me, and nobody, believes me. And I'm in such a better place about that now. And I thank you both so much.
Thank you. I'm glad you were able to come on today.
Me too.
We got callers starting to line up, Julie. So we're going to continue down the line. Area code 509.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, can you?
Yes.
Hello, this is Heather. I also go by She Glides By. And I've connected with you, Julian, on Facebook. We had a nice chat. And Bob, I sent you an email when you were in Morocco. And this is pretty much an idea that I'm kind of watching unfold and gathering more thoughts on. But that's how to create a manual or a way to inform our local communities about our change that's happening with the bonds and the new financial system that we all need to be a part of. And I sent that to you, Bob. I don't know if you got a chance to review that while you were going through healing, but I have to say I'm so touched by what I saw in the video just recently. And
so,
Julian, I'm very touched by what happened to Shasta, too.
Thank you. So what you're going to find is that there are no perfect templates for everyone. There are templates that are broad strokes, but I think what's happened in the past with regards to just handing out the courtesy notes is that people still needed to find out how they wanted to live with what they were doing, like how they wanted to share from their from their point of view, because actually it's very personal. To just inform the system is one thing, but to inform them and say, hey, you right there, you are affecting me right here. There's a difference there, because now you're making clear that how it actually is a personal thing. It's not like, oh, no offense, yeah, I work for a bank, and yeah, I know I screwed you, but no offense. Like, yes, I take offense, I'm screwed, you did it, and I'm standing here, and I need more than an apology. You know what I'm saying? So every time that we take this idea of disseminating information, you know, I don't want to say make it personal and be like a badass or be like real pushy or anything, but for them to actually have an opportunity to recognize that everything is one-on-one. Every interaction is one-on-one. And the more impersonal we make it, the more we're actually giving the opportunity for others to control us with no heart behind it.
Right, exactly.
So communities in the future I see are pretty much the only ones that will survive are the ones based on heart relations. It's the only functional way that is sustainable in a society where it's too easy to take advantage of someone because they don't know who or what you are and will never get back to you and that sort of thing, right? So it's like true responsibility for yourself. And when it comes to, let's just say we're talking about, you know, doing the oaths and bonds and giving notice to people, this is what I'm going to start to do, is what you're going to say. I'm going to do this. Do you want to cooperate with me? Does this sound like a good idea? It's not going to be like, here, read this, and then tell me what you think. It's going to be like, hey, this is what I've learned, and this is what I'd like to do. You know, let's talk about it if this even piques your interest. If it doesn't pique your interest, I'm not going to spend the energy to go through it with you. I'll just find someone else who is more interested. Maybe I'll leave this documentation with you so you can look at it another time. I got my email on there. You know, go ahead and reach me and we can talk. Now, the reason why we're doing this in a local community is simply because our relationships are local. All our relationships are based on our physical surroundings. No one lives in a black hole in the middle of the woods where, you know, bankers are on the other side of the planet. You know what I mean? Well, you know, my point being that you can't get anything done without meeting other people in your life, so to speak. So stop virtualizing everything and start actualizing your local reality, because your local reality is where you're the most potent. It's simple. It's harder to punch someone in the face from across the internet than it is to punch the guy across from you who's pissing you off, okay? You have control of your local reality 10 to 50 times more than you do the virtual distance realities, okay? Because you don't have all your senses engaged in those spaces so much, okay? If you do, it's usually with, like, family members. You want to defend your family. You want to defend your best friends. And so, yes, you can put yourself in that space as close as you can despite the physical proximity issues. But physical proximity, high potency to your expression. So don't virtualize it. Be as much yourself in that moment. And, you know, and if you come out sounding like a babbling fool, take it as a lesson that you can practice the conversation, that you can be very honest and real about it. And, you know, evolve and see if you're a babbling fool, then there's probably things and hiccups in your head that would serve you better to look into a bit more for yourself.
And Heather, I do remember you sent that email about shifting paradigms or something.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, I think you sent me a draft of what you wanted to put together, and I thought it was really, really good. Continue with finishing that, you know, and we can make it available on one of the websites.
Mm-hmm. I guess what I'm saying is make the templates have lots of open spaces for personal involvement. That's what my opinion would be. Okay.
Thank you very much. And I just want to add to what the conversation I heard with you, with Julian and Chris, about your Shasta visit, and the point that came up again was the Internet 2.0 that you were speaking about.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got an email from a workshop that's happening today with Lauren Daly and Suzanne Light, and she's talking about the corridor. So it seemed like there might be some correlation there, and I think I mean to send you that email so you can review that and to see if that connects with this. But it just seemed like it was like synchronistic.
Well,
so,
there's
anyway,
actually going to be a lot of smaller software platforms that are going to come out. They're going to bridge people's reality into accepting the Internet 2.0 concept. Like Project 13 is a bridging concept that gives you an idea of kind of how things will begin to work in personal liability spaces. Because that's where it really comes down to. There's no one wants to be profiled. No one wants to be like, you own my data, you can look me up, and you can, come and murder my children in the night because you know where I live and you know my weaknesses or something, right? But personal liability leads to heightened responsibility. So no one will be able to access who you are without them offering their exchange of high responsibility liability. And because it's so personal, it's so you, it's really no different than you walking down the street or walking through the mall where you can't hide yourself. You are you, and anyone who wants to come across and interact with you, it's up to you to decide how that interaction is going to transpire. Do you want to greet this person, or do you want to tell them to get lost, or do you want to start up, a relationship on some subject or another? It's all in the moment choices, and the computer system that is going to be brought out is really just a way to expand your consciousness into fields that are beyond your physical body. You'll be able to virtualize in the direction of expression. And when expression is given to you, you can be your authentic self without having to be in physical proximity. And that's almost along the lines of what I was just saying before. People don't have a lot of empathy for people that are not in their face. Let's just say that. So that's what it's turning into. And the lines of communication are ridiculous. It's like, when you have Skype and you're talking with someone over a video and you can feel them a little better than if you just have audio, right? Well, it's almost the equivalent of relationships going from text to not just audio, but directly to video, and you can touch each other's hands almost. That's the clear jump that we're making in terms of how the technology will allow you to be as close as you wish with every other person.
Wow.
So
I think that's a lot of us want. I know that's something I've been wanting for a long time, is to be able to connect. Yeah.
Right. And no one hides. I mean, what they hide is obvious what they're hiding. It's clear when they're hiding, and then you just say, well, we're not going to be able to take this very far, so, have fun out there by yourself,
Yeah.
But it's also quite close to the attraction of the soul family and those that are like-minded, because you're just going to find you're just not interested in spending time with people that aren't. You'll have limited relationships for the functionality that they bring, but imagine actually finding people that want to talk exactly on the same subject as you are, 24/7. It's going to be one giant social world at that point, because everything will eventually become automated for all the, the little dinky things of how we function in our lives physically. Anyways,
I can imagine the hunger coming on.
Yeah, I'm just speaking to Pleiadian life as well. Through this last transformation, I don't know if I mentioned in my update, but I'm just going to speak as a Pleiadian. It sounds, out there, but that's it. I'm almost 100% integrated, and I'll speak to what frustrates them, and I'll speak from where their heart is, because it's not just that I'm part of the collective of their state of mind, but I'm an individual as well, and I'm, plenty frustrated with things that are just not serving anymore in terms of approach to the way things are done. And I'm about business now. I'm getting down and dirty and seeing exactly what the most effective ways to make the transformation come to pass.
All right. Well, thank you, Julian, and thank you, Bob. I love you both and everyone on here. Thank you.
And Heather, send me an update on
all right,
on your.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks for
guys,
calling.
it's Gloria. I've been hanging on here. I just want to say, because I want to jump off, but I do want to say, for somebody who's been doing this for a long time on this path, it's so exciting, Julian, to see you just leap ahead on all this. But I too, am feeling that frustration. And being a bridge person, I guess, for a really long time, you know, bridging all the worlds of all the people has been a lot of hard work, you know. And now I'm at the point where I feel exactly the same way. I have no patience anymore for the BS. I have done my best. I've been here. I've said my truth. I've, been a good example. I've been out of the system for years and years. You know, I've totally been one of those people who formed the template, and at the same time, you know, made the bridge to be available to try to help or explain or guide or whatever. But I feel like I'm a little bit burning my bridge now. I'm like, I got to go on. I can't stay. I can't hang around forever. I got to move forward. And really, I feel it's so important for everybody to understand. It's really time to, the train is going to leave the station, and you got to decide: are you getting on or what? And I won't be at the station anymore. I'm going on. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and I feel a lot of excitement. You know, that all these things are finally happening, and I feel the energies rising. Just like Bob said, Thursday was just like a day where I felt plugged in. So, you know, I feel all this stuff happening, but at the same time, I'm like the racehorse behind the gate. I can't hold back anymore. You know, and I gotta move on, and I don't have a lot of patience for the people that are either refusing to see that something's happening or just hitting the snooze button or whatever it is. But I can't be the one who sticks around to hold your hand too much longer, you know?
Yes, I know the feeling. I know I'm among the younger generation in my position, but
you are. You just blazing through this whole process. I'm happy for you, but I'm kind of jealous because, geez, you're doing this so fast.
I can say I wouldn't be here if those hadn't held the space before me. But it's like people. I want to say you, but people who are first wavers had their opportunity to do a lot of the paving of the way.
You can say I'm a first waver.
And there's third wavers who have no opportunities. They just can't stand what's going on, and they have little to no ability to integrate with the average people in society.
Right.
So the second waivers now, it's like, that's it. Let's not just pour the concrete here. Let's just rewrite the map, and because now I came into contact with third waivers, and I'm like, that's it. I can't stand to see this. Like these people need their space to be the wonderful people they are, because they transform people who are just enough like-minded that they get it, right?
Right.
And that is massive. And so I want all three waves to be working together now, at all different degrees, and it's happening. It's happening without my say so. It is just, I just seem to be syncing up with seeing that that's occurring.
Well, it's just a wave that has reached a certain point where it has so much momentum, it can't be really slowed down too much.
Yeah.
That's my feeling about it. You got to really, people are just going to have to get up to speed real quick.
Yep. So,
shitter, get off the pot, as Dee would say.
Well, anyway, thank you so much. What an expansive discussion. I'm going to jump off and make room for somebody else, but I just had to say that,
Thanks for joining us, Gloria, and for sharing.
I appreciate you guys so much, all of you. I love you so much.
Thanks, Gloria. Thanks for sharing.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Night.
Okay, we have another caller, area code 480. Area code 480.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
I hear you.
Hello.
That's
Hi.
you. Hi.
Oh, good. I needed to unmute. Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much. I just wanted to say one thing really quickly is everything is happening so quickly right now, but I think we also need to remember that we have our place in that and that we have to keep moving forward, but from a space of love. And even though we might be agitated at the other people who aren't moving, our place is to move right now and to hold the space. And I have changed dramatically because of you. And now people are going to change when they see me moving forward from a good, loving, patient place. I will help others, but I also know that they have to come at their own speed, and I can't drag them fast enough because they're not going to come. They're going to just put their heels in.
Yep.
Right?
I mean, some people, they need to live on the high octane, and some people need to work on the old diesel, and that's just that's just the engine that they're working with at that point in time. You just can't, toss nitrous into an old diesel machine. You gotta give it its opportunity to go through its process. And to say no, you can't just say, hey, let me install this new engine for you. They're gonna be like, what are you thinking? How do I know that this isn't going to lead me to so much horsepower that I'm not going to crash? I want to see you go down the strip and make it.
Right. And I think it all comes to fear, don't you think, Julian, that it's really based on fear of the
I'm going to not use the word fear anymore, actually.
Okay.
I'm persuaded not to use it. I want to say fear is simply like a wall, a barrier, a limitation. It's a point at which you don't want to cross, right?
Yes.
And the entire manifest that we live in is all limitation. All physical structure exists because it's chosen to live within a parameter of limitations, okay?
Right.
We don't fly like angels because it's a perfectly suitable limitation to not have that accessible to us right now. So what we're doing is we're reprogramming the world. We're deciding what limitations are not serving because we wish to move past. We want to overcome these walls. But it's ideal that we don't have to climb over the walls anymore, and we just sort of dismantle them and pull them down so that other people can walk through without figuring out that the wall was there in the first place, right? So there's plenty of people who will do work or do the work for everyone else without them having to figure out how to climb a wall.
Right.
That makes sense? We'll just provide the space for them to walk through.
Right. Because look what Heather did, and then look what Bob did, and look what you did. Even just listening to you coming back from Mount Shasta was just life-changing for me. A new bulb went off, and the possibilities were just every day. It's almost like I hear something more that's more possibilities for me. And so, I'm tuned in, right? I've got it. But I don't have to bring other people behind me. I just have to show the way now, my part in it. Bob is walking, and that's huge. That showed people so much, and it happened so quickly that I don't think we have to worry about the people that are still lagging because they're going to catch up so fast because look what's happened in a month.
Yeah, like Heather did, just remove the walls. Just remove the walls. She didn't know what we would do once the walls were gone. And so we were confused. We're like, what happened to these walls? Are they really gone? Am I just imagining this, And then she's like, oh, well, okay, I think they're going to need a little more nurturing than that. So she gave us some of her time. But in the end, people who do figure it out, it's for us to say, hey, I'm off and running here.
Exactly. And when Bob walked, imagine what he did for all the people who are embracing any type of illness. He faced it and showed them, wait a minute, maybe there's another way.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so every day, I just can't believe how fast it's going. And so I just thank you guys for stepping up and just being who you be.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank
you. And
all right. See ya.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I wish I had gotten her name.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, we have area code 205.
Hey, you guys, this is Jennifer from Birmingham.
Jennifer. Hey, how you doing, Jen?
I'm doing super. And can I just say, you guys, before I say anything else, I've been listening to the whole show. God, what an awesome conversation. It's been so good. The whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's energy, what everybody's had to say, and all the love everybody's been putting into the mix. It's just awesome.
Well,
hey,
I recognize it, and I just want to say to listeners, I really love that you're here with us, listening to it live or listening to it afterwards. You're my kind of people. I mean, seriously.
Absolutely.
They're the kind of people I want to spend time with.
You know, right on. I actually said this to a person, speaking of being in, how effective we are in the 3D section that we are in, the moment, the people that are around us. I'm so aware of that, and I'm so aware of the sort of kid gloves that have had to be applied to everybody in my periphery just to keep them from recoiling at my door.
Yeah.
Right? And especially just in the last few weeks, since you guys got back from Morocco and just, just the solstice. I mean, it's just so beautiful. And so I had this conversation last night with this friend, and, he's still, like you just said, Julian, he wants somebody in front. He wants to see somebody else do it. I can see in his eyes that, like, he's feeling it a little more now, like he's starting to get excited, like it's possible.
Yeah.
He's also a male man. And it's funny that Mike from Boston called me because I just love him. And I told Lee, that's my friend, I said, there's a guy called in. He's a mailman, like he's like you, and he's like, he's still living in the world of like, I'm, one of the last people that still has a secure job and, and this and that. And it's like, wow, come on. Security is not at all what you think it is. It's just not there in the way you think it is.
To have to need security, that's making a wall scenario, right?
Exactly.
Security is a particular boundary that you say you're comfortable with. It's just fine. There's security and not floating up into the sky and, going off into the universe. But, how does that security serve you now?
Exactly, And to think that we could even be secured, in any real way against, the foibles of daily living.
Yeah.
Like the insurance that we're so programmed into thinking we have to have and things of that nature. But I didn't want to go necessarily there. I wanted to call in and say thank you and I love you guys, but I want to go one other place, which is to say I'm ready to put some serious meat behind the bone in terms of what you guys were just saying about be the example. I'm personally putting it out there right now that I am living in Birmingham, Alabama. It's where I'm from. It's who I am. I'm in a house that I signed a mortgage on 10 years ago, and up until 6 months ago, I paid it on time like a good girl. And I stopped. And I said, I'm not doing this. And it happened when I read the document, the Declaration of OPT.
Right.
And so all of that to say, I'm putting out there that I am here, and I live alone. I have friends, and they float in and out of my life. But I have a house. And as of right now, the cost of being in this house is the upkeep and keeping the lights on.
Right.
And I'm doing that. I'm an RN, and I work for myself, and I do home infusions for the few patients that Walgreens and CVS hasn't stolen from me. But, and however long that'll last. I'm really putting one foot in the new world, and I'm able to keep another foot over here for now to keep the Federal Reserve notes flowing in a certain direction for the things we need, like food. But I've always understood from the beginning of these whole discussions that it was us that was the value, that it was us. It was us being responsible and standing in our own. And it's going to take people like us who stand out there, who are coming from a place of responsibility in the old paradigm view.
Mhm.
Right? I'm not saying I was ever a saint. My God, no. But I can step out there into the open with some more support from all my brothers and sisters like you and say, hey, let's have an educational spot right here. I'm also the person who has the friend who has the house that he calls a consciousness clubhouse, that he wants to turn into a consciousness clubhouse.
Awesome. I love
the
name.
Listen to me, guys. His name, Bob, listen to me. His name is Bob. And he's just turned 49 years old, and he, like you, is paraplegic and in a wheelchair with a recoverable injury. It's an energetic injury. He got a bruised spinal cord from a fall 25 years ago. It's so amazing, the overlaps of this, and he's the one who has the house. And he's one of my friends who's teetering on, like, he wants to believe me so bad because his heart is there. And we have this faith. And so I'm telling you guys and anybody else that's listening that I'm here and I have a house, okay? You know, it needs this, it needs that, just like houses do, right? But it can house. And Bob has a house. My wheelchair Bob has a house called the Consciousness Clubhouse. And right now he has to throw wedding parties and all these, you know, frou-frou parties of people who are still in the third paradigm thinking in order to keep it going. And he wants more than anything to believe what I'm saying is true, so he can, in faith, stop, you know, feeding energy into the beast that is his mortgage payment. So I'm just putting it out there that this is the world that we can all then start to create as we're talking about it. And I'm putting my hand up and being responsible.
Awesome doing. Your passion and you putting your money where your mouth is and actually doing is such a glowing example.
And it has reverberations to even people who don't know who you are.
Oh, I know that because it happens to me when I listen to you guys. I mean, I understand that intimately because I'm living it myself. How else did I come to have the kahunas to be able to do this today?
Well,
you know?
you've taken power back.
Yeah,
you've taken responsibility for it.
So I went today and had lunch at the local Chinese buffet with my Chinese friend, who's also my Kung Fu Qigong master. And we had lunch and we had a fortune cookie. And, well, you know, fortune cookies are not really Chinese. So my fortune cookie said, when you give continually, you will continually have.
I love that. It's how I see energy. If you express energy, then it flows through you, and that's the purpose of life, to have the energy flow through your body, have energy flow, and as it flows, you know, you are a magnet to all that you are doing in the flowing. So your flowing is also the attractive force. It's coming out of you, but it's also creating wells of experiences around you that bring those and those experiences and people of like energy to you. It's kind of like I did not nearly have the number of friends I had before I came online, so to speak, right? By being myself, I'm finding those like myself come and want to share my experience with me. You know? It's a lot less the people who need to have me in their life and more the ones that love to just share what we have in common.
And it just takes that courage to be yourself, to be okay with being yourself. You know, once you realize, oh, okay, it's okay to be me.
Yeah.
And you can just start being, it's first of all, it's liberating.
Absolutely.
It's extremely liberating, because anyone who's grown up in the early '80s gay and had to go through the whole coming out, how liberating it is to be able to be yourself. I can't tell you, what a relief it is. And I lost my whole family because of it. I lost the majority of my friends because of it. But it wasn't a negative experience in my and anyone who it was still liberating. It was worth any price because otherwise I would not choose to be here. And so people, everybody has this image that is etched into their minds of what it is to be quote unquote cool, acceptable, socially, normal. And those images are just an idea that hardly anybody lives up to, or all these different ideas of I know people have consciousness about their bodies, they have consciousness about their ability to communicate, they're self-conscious about so many things, but it's those very things that endear you to people. I have a friend, and he's quite shy. He doesn't like to be around crowds, people. Yeah. And it came to realize, that's not a flaw. It's not a flaw to be. It's not a flaw to be shy, because he's an ultra sensitive person, and I understand he's getting all this information all at once, and sometimes it's overwhelming for him. So,
can I share what happened on my first day back from at work?
Yeah.
So my auric site basically skyrocketed, and I knew how to turn it off, but I had it on for a couple minutes, and I was walking down the hallways between cubicles, cubicle scenario, and I was almost like, oh shoot, I can't even walk near that person. I got to dodge out to the side. Because I was just like, I do not want this energy, flowing through me that I saw coming at me. It was like somebody who hadn't taken a shower ever, coming towards me. I was like, oh God. I just knew, and I, was like cramping up, like, don't let it get me, sort of, hey,
So you
but
found
at the
it
same
better
time,
to
I was
turn
like
it
going
off
around
than know
people.
it.
Yeah, right. I need to turn it off, right? But that was like the heightened experience of being shy, not wanting to be in crowds, because there's so much you're just not interested that other people, are who they are, that you just don't want to be around it, right? They just don't share your type of energy. But in fact, what happened over the weekend is I met the people that I was absolutely adoring and absolutely was totally in sync with, and they energized my state of awareness over myself and my surroundings. And I don't know how many hugs I gave. It must have been over 50, and it's still happening today. I'm hugging completely strangers now because I just actually know what they're like even before we've said any words. And it's just awesome and strange and wonderful at the same time, because by my hugging, I'm actually charging myself. It has nothing to do with the other person. I'm the flow, right? Because I want to be the lovey, wonderful, cuddly person that I know I am inside. I'm that. Oh, the Pleiadians really are like, why are you not hugging him? I'm like, I'll hug him. Yeah, all right. This should happen.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
You know what? That's a common thing, and because maybe I'm just with my soul family because I feel the exact same way. I
hug everybody anyway.
I love to just hug. When we were on the trip Lisa was my cuddle buddy. You know, it's just
that's actually quite important. I really do sincerely suggest looking into hugging if you aren't doing at least 3 a day. You know, if you're living by yourself, I can understand, right? But if you're living with anyone and you don't think you get away with 3 hugs a day, you might not want to be around them that much, which is a sign.
You know, and don't forget about trees, because they're people too.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget about who?
Other than people to hug, because
animals
and trees, those have enough consciousness to give quite a bit of feedback.
Oh yeah, they can read your mind.
Oh yeah.
I mean, my socks read my mind. They say, "Okay, it's time to get a wash."
Hey, listen.
Okay.
Speaking of plants reading your mind, I have a question that's been sort of nagging me for a little while now, that I've been wanting to ask Bob, and that has to do with your consumption of marijuana. Has it changed any?
Has it changed any?
Do you find you have a different relationship? How is it changing, or is it? Because it's medicine to me. And
for me, it, you know, it was the only thing that worked. You know, as far as my muscle spasms were concerned. You know, it was something. You know, they had prescribed me these muscle antispasmodic. But like the list of side effects, you know, one of them was psychosis.
Yeah,
Great.
I mean, I'm an RN,
you know?
so I know what you mean. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I've been using it regularly. It really hasn't changed much, but I don't look at it as
I'm being interrupted right here. Can I just share something?
Sure.
It's actually speaking me to the consciousness of the collective of these plants, and they're saying we're doing our best to connect you to Earth's love, and we will do this for you until anyone decides that we don't belong. They're really trying to be a portal system into the Earth's and Gaia's love and respective energy. It's a portal plant.
That's the exact relationship I have with it.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, in the one rhyme that I do, I say I harness power from the flower.
Okay. I like that.
Very nice.
I'm
very. Thank you for saying that, because this is exactly where to my relationship with it as well. And, you know, as I move forward in my own path and my relationship to everything around me is changing, that is the one thing that's constant. And it's the thing that when I commune with, it's, you know, I get the light turned on extra high for the love of Gaia.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that can't be bad. That's the thing
Nothing
that
wrong
gets me
with
to the
that
next.
at all.
Well, it definitely helps me with the work that I do. And I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not saying that it's for everybody, but for me it definitely helps me with the work that I do. I do a lot of energetic work. And it's like I said, I harness power from the flower.
Right. Absolutely. Well, thank you for that opinion and point of view, because it's something that I've been wondering for a while, because no one ever really speaks to that much in these conversations, and so I just wonder how important it is, or, you know, how rare I am, or what.
Well, you know, this is the thing. Like when I'm doing, especially when I'm teaching, you know, or even when I'm doing the radio shows, I can't get high.
Right.
I physically cannot get high. Because I'm in a state that I don't know. It just when I'm turned on, nothing. I don't know. I can't get drunk either.
Mhm.
If somebody were to ask me a question while I'm drunk, and I start tapping in, I immediately sober up.
Interesting.
Almost instantly.
And so then it's like, why bother?
So, it when I'm relaxing and when I'm meditating, it's perfect for me, and I don't hide it. I'm not ashamed of it, and people, they can have their problems with it, but I don't really hang out with those people, so
well, right.
I don't really care.
Right, nor do I. I'm just really curious about y'all's opinion because I know everybody else's. So
I've spoke 3 times on the show so far.
I didn't hear what she said.
She said
I've smoked 3 times on the show so far.
Okay.
I have one. Full disclosure.
Funny, you guys are really lucky because my metabolism doesn't allow me to get affected by substances almost at all. Like alcohol, I actually don't get drunk. I've tried marijuana, I don't know, millions of times.
You don't
get addicted to cigarettes.
Jack and Coke? Jack and Coke
I
doesn't
try to. I do my best. I drink a lot of it fast. But no, hard alcohol is the only opportunity I get. But
that's very interesting.
And it doesn't last very long. But I've been given sort of like an iron stomach or something. Same thing with pain medication. It all doesn't do anything. But
well, it's funny
part of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I was told that I was given armored DNA so that I wouldn't be easily controlled. I was told I needed to not be able to be controlled because I'm meant to be who I am without anything suppressing me. Something along those lines.
Did you just get that? Did you just get an
No,
upgrade?
No, that was recent.
With that?
I came in with it. It's the blessed life thing. Never really ever get hurt. I've fallen out of trees and sworn I should have broken everything I had and just end up with just bruises. Things like this.
Right.
Just I don't have to watch what I eat either. I maintain the same weight no matter what if I eat or not. And it's ideal.
I'm not that fortunate.
Okay, well, sorry.
Me either.
Well, it's getting near the end of the show. It's getting near the end of the show, and I did want to get across a couple things. I mean, we can run over time, but I'm going to be on a show tonight with Lance White and Andrew Bartzis, and I believe a couple other friends from my soul family that I met at Shasta this weekend. And I'm going to flat out say I don't know how to get a hold of Lance and get onto Lance's show. It may even be recorded. I don't know that much, but they told me that they would really love for me to get on and speak with them. So that we might be looking at another recording availability, but I'm going to look around my damnedest to see if I can get some kind of, radio station posted somewhere so that people can find out where that is. And I'll probably have that on my Facebook, and I'll post it in Skype and the numerous groups that I'm in. But I just wanted to share that. There's a lot of activity happening. My soul group and I, we've got a lot of projects building up behind the scenes. One of them, of course, is the getting the 52 million year history that Andrew Bartzis was sharing. I mean, it's actually only kind of like part one, the first 20 episodes. I found out they're all around half an hour, and I put out the call for transcribers, and that was a wonderful, wonderful response. In fact, we have too many transcribers now, so I'm going to go gingerly through them and see who I think is really up for it with the most skills already prepared to do it. And so you don't need any more transcribers. We do. Andrew is looking for transcribers to transcribe his numerous radio shows. He has over 700 hours of radio shows. So if anybody wants to do that, that's a matter of eventuality that we get that data out. Altogether, all the transcribed pieces, they will lead to, for one, that will lead to small revenue systems for those offering the transcription. So it would be like you can get a book off Amazon and you'll get something to the equivalent of 6 to 8 hours of transcriptions for like $1 and make those accessible for people who like those formats. And also for the sake of developing the sort of wiki site that I'm working on. It's not a wiki site, it's like a SharePoint or something where all his data is collected into one space and gets slowly added to over time. So sort of like a periodical update every week or so with all the data that gets implemented, because we really do, I really do appreciate that. We have depository. And although it deserves to be free, at the same time, it deserves to have a small compensation for those that are putting it together. And, no one's getting rich off of this anytime quickly, but the demand is out there, and all the videos are free, at least for the onset. But for those who are interested in doing that little extra work, I think there can be, some benefit for not just those offering their support, but also on the wider scale. Those who just want to offer their energy, and support, without any looking to a compensation of any form, of course, that's appreciated too. That's a way to sort of give back and to pay it forward. That always works at an energetic accounting level. So, obviously we're open to that too. But for the moment, we don't need any more transcribers. Thank you again for hearing my call.
Julian, in the chat room, they're asking, what is the show called?
The show that it's going to be called, it's not an actual show. It's the Galactic History or something like that.
No. The one that you're doing with Lance White.
Oh, I don't know what the name of the show is. He has a show. I think it's something like a Zany Mystic or something like that. He's called the Zany Mystic. But he's been interviewing all these top dogs for the last 20 years that are all in the New Age world, all New Age stuff. So he's the one doing the interviewing with Andrew, and so he's part of the recordings as well. But yes, I'm sorry I don't have all the data. I really just recently got invited and notified that we were going to do this. But I'll definitely get the link to the recordings should they be made available, spread around. So, anyways, just want to say that before we go off the air.
Okay.
But we can keep talking if you like.
Yes, I will check out and say thank you guys. I'm going to just keep listening, but I'll just go ahead and let you guys say goodnight and say peace. It's out there. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank everyone for sharing. Gloria, Jennifer, Heather, all of you who've contributed to the show. We're down to our last minute, so I'm just going to remind everyone, please tune in on Monday. There'll be some big announcements made on Monday, and we should have quite a lot of information to share on the One People's Radio, and Tuesday of Collective Imagination, and us next week. And everyone in the chat room, thank you for all your questions, all your contributions. Continue to tune in to 5D Media Network if you want to listen to the archives, 5dmedianetwork.com. And we'll see you all next week.
We will. Take care, everyone.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.